Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. NHK reports that Britain and France recently hosted an online conference focused on ensuring safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Leaders from approximately 50 countries and organizations participated, with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz attending in person in Paris. Following the meeting, the leaders welcomed Iran's announcement that the Strait of Hormuz is open. French President Emmanuel Macron described Iran's decision as a step in the right direction, but emphasized the demand for the immediate and unconditional full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz by all parties, advocating for the restoration of pre-war free passage and respect for the law of the sea. He also stated continued diplomatic engagement with Iran for de-escalation and close coordination with the US and Israel. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer announced plans to accelerate efforts to protect freedom of navigation, including a military planning conference in London next week. Over a dozen countries have already offered assets for this mission, which Starmer stressed would be strictly peaceful and defensive, aiming to reassure commercial shipping and support mine clearance. Fox Business reports that Meta is preparing to cut approximately 8,000 jobs, representing about 10% of its global workforce, with an initial round of layoffs expected to begin on May 20. Sources indicate that further reductions are anticipated in the second half of the year, though specifics remain unclear. This move by the tech giant aims to offset rising artificial intelligence infrastructure costs and streamline operations with AI-assisted workers. CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been heavily investing in AI as the company shifts its strategic focus towards this technology. When contacted by Fox Business, Meta declined to comment, having previously referred to similar reports as speculative. The company had nearly 79,000 employees as of December 31. This follows previous significant layoffs in late 2022 and early 2023, where 11,000 and another 10,000 workers were cut respectively. Other major tech firms, such as Amazon, have also announced substantial layoffs tied to AI developments. The United States Trump administration has once again temporarily exempted sanctions on Russian oil for a period of 30 days, a move aimed at curbing the escalating oil prices fueled by the ongoing US-Israel-Iran conflict. This decision, announced on Friday, April 17th, allows countries to purchase Russian crude oil and petroleum products that were loaded on or before April 17th, with the exemption valid until May 16th. Notably, this comes just 2 days after U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent explicitly stated at a White House press conference that the administration would not extend sanctions exemptions for Russian and Iranian oil. A similar 30-day exemption in March had expired on April 11, while the initial round of exemptions, which Russian President's Special Envoy Kirill Dmitry said would release 100 million barrels of oil, failed to prevent price increases due to the continued blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. This latest measure may further complicate Western efforts to cut Russia's war funding and could create friction with European allies like EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who previously asserted it was not the time to ease sanctions. This report is from Thai Sounds. Chosun Online reports that the United States has expressed dissatisfaction with South Korea's Unification Minister Jung Dong-young, following his public statement in March that North Korea possesses nuclear facilities in Kusong, North Pyongan Province. U.S. Embassy officials reportedly inquired about the background of Jung's remarks. As Kusong is a suspected nuclear development region not officially confirmed by U.S. South Korean intelligence agencies, the U.S. views such a public revelation about sensitive security matters especially regarding an unconfirmed site as a unilateral action lacking prior communication. This incident has raised concerns that the U.S. might restrict its intelligence sharing with South Korea on North Korean affairs. Reports of potential information sharing cuts were not denied by the U.S. Forces Korea. South Korea's largest opposition party criticized the minister's statement as a disaster that creates a rift in the ROK-U.S. alliance's security cooperation and could lead to information sharing limitations. The Unification Ministry, however, clarified that Jong's statement was based on publicly available information from international research institutions and that the U.S. had understood this. A delegation of senior U.S. State Department representatives traveled to Cuba last week on a U.S. government plane, marking a diplomatic opening amidst intense pressure from the Trump administration. During the visit, a U.S. diplomat met with Guillermo Gus Castro, grandson of former President Castro. Castro discussions focused on the Trump administration's demands for political and economic reforms, the release of political prisoners, and an offer of Starlink satellite internet service. A U.S. official told CBS News that Cuba's economy is in free fall and leaders have a small window for reforms. President Trump indicated openness to diplomacy, but warned he will not let the island collapse into a major national security threat. This visit occurred as Cuba grapples with an energy crisis due to Trump's tariff threats on oil exports. Trump has also publicly suggested military intervention, while Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel rued Cuba's readiness for a potential U.S. offensive. CBS News. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.